Write an equation. Here we're going to look at a couple of problems to see how this stuff can be applied in real life. And so here's a couple of them. First of all, your mom sends you to the store to buy a pair of shoes and socks. She gives you $30. The pair of shoes that you choose is $20. Each pair of socks is $2. How many pairs of socks can you buy? So pretty clear. What we're looking for is we're looking for the number of pairs of socks. How many pairs of socks? So I'm going to define that variable by just saying, well, let P equal the number of pairs of socks. So now I'm looking through, that's what I'm looking for, and when I get to what the value of P is, I know I've solved the problem. So I need to set up that equation though to begin with. So, and you might be able to do this one in your head, you probably will be able to, but we still need to write out an equation if it says to do so to prove that we can do it with a more complex problem. So she gives you $30. So let's circle that because that's an important number in there. And sometimes there's extra numbers in these problems, but in this case here there are not. Pair of shoes that you cost is $20. And each pair of socks is $2. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, 30 minus 20, oh, I got $10, and now how many pairs of socks can I buy? Well, 10. How many? That's 2 into 10, so I can buy 5 pairs, which is great if you can do that in your head, but still you need to write it out to show that you can. So here's the way we do this. So 30 is equal to 20. $30, that's how much your mom gave you. $20 is the cost of the shoes. And now we've got to figure out this amount of socks is that. But the amount of socks, they're not $1 each, they're $2 each. So for each pair of socks, I'm spending $2. So what I have to do then is I have to isolate the variable. So what this is now 10 is equal to 20 minus 20. So it's just 2p. Now I divide both sides by 2. What do I end up with? 10 divided by 2, that's going to be 5. And now this is going to be 2 divided by 2, so that's 1. That's just p. So does that make logical sense that it would be 2? Plug this back, or that would be 5. Plug this back in there. 2 times 5, 10. 10 plus 20 equals 30. Yes, that makes sense, and you can see it's a reasonable answer. Next problem. The score in a football game is 28 for the Tigers and 14 for the Pirates. For each touchdown, a team gets 7 points. How many touchdowns do the Pirates need to tie the game? So we're looking for how many touchdowns they need. And if you are a football fan, you probably instinctually know the answer to this, but we still, again, if it says write an equation, we still have to figure out how to do that. So the score in the football game is 28 for the Tigers. Assuming they don't score anymore, we need to get up to 28. So that's going to be the key thing there. Right now we're at 14. And each touchdown is worth 7. And we're looking for this value of how many touchdowns. So let's say that let's let n equal the number of touchdowns. And now we've just got, okay, when we solve for n, we know we got the answer. So let's look at this problem quickly here. Well, the score in the football game is 28 for the Tigers. How many more points do they need to add? They don't need to add 28 more. How many do they need to add? They need to add, well, 28 minus 14, which in this case here, it's just going to be 14 again. So they need 14 more points. Now, for each touchdown, we're going to go ahead and figure this out. For each touchdown, they get 7 points. So that's the quick way that you might think in your head that they just would need 2. But let's write it out a little bit more long-handed way to make it clear that we're dealing with each of these parts. So right now we've got 28 points is where we're trying to get to, right? So we already have 14 points. Now we need to go ahead and score some more touchdowns. So that's just n, the amount of touchdowns. And since each touchdown is worth 7 points, we put that in front. This looks familiar to that because when we go ahead and we subtract this, we go ahead and we end up with 14 is equal to 7n. And then we divide both sides by 7. And when we do that, 14 divided by 7, that's going to be 2 is equal to n. Now, again, important thing to understand, and these sort of problems here, sometimes you can figure them out very quickly, like in terms of this, if you just say to yourself, well, this value here needs to be 14, because 14 plus 14 equals 28. Great if you can do that. But again, don't forget to check your answers. 2 into here, 7 times 2, 14. 14 plus 14 equals 28. And that's great.